Hi guys, I trust that you're feeling well and awesome. Welcome to this video on grade 11 mathematics, and in this video we're going to have a look at solving equations by using the quadratic formula. This is the third video in a series of videos that covers how to solve quadratic equations. In the previous video we looked at how to solve a quadratic equation using completing the square, and the video before then we looked at how to solve quadratic equations by using factorization. So in this video we're going to look at the quadratic formula. We will go over the basics of solving equations as we did in the previous two videos, and then we'll get into the actual business of today, which would be how to solve a quadratic equation using the quadratic formula. So without any further ado, let's get straight into it. We have mentioned before that in previous grades you were solving linear equations, meaning equations where x is an highest exponent of 1, and we were always also solving quadratic equations. Now, we said we can solve quadratic equations using different forms of factorization. Examples of this would be your common factor, your difference of two squares, your trinomials, etc. And in grade 11, we've got three different ways of solving quadratic equations, including the common factor, factorization. So we've got factorization, we've got completing the square, and then we've got the actual purpose of this video, which is solving equations by using the quadratic formula. Without any further ado, let's look at the quadratic formula. There are times where factorization is not possible in an equation. Or maybe you're working with really large numbers that it's difficult for you to find the factors of those numbers. Or you simply get a scenario in which the x values are non-real numbers. What do we mean by that? You have something like the square root of -3, so x is equals to the square root of -3. And if you had to try this using factorization, you'd actually find that it's not possible. But you can actually get this by completing the square, as you've seen in the previous video. And if you have not checked out the previous two videos, I would highly recommend that you check them out so that you have a proper understanding of the different techniques we use to solve for x, as well as to be able to solve for x given any scenario in an exam. I'll include the link to the playlist as well as to both videos in the description. So, in cases where we are not able to factorize an equation, where we've got non-real values of x, or where the values are too big for us to factorize, we could use the quadratic formula. So, if we have a quadratic equation in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0, we could solve for x by using this equation. So this is an equation that you need to start familiarizing yourself with. We are going to use this equation quite a lot. And in your paper 1, question 1, there's always going to be the one question where you'd be expected to solve for x either by completing the square or by using the quadratic formula. And how do you know that you need to do that? In brackets, they will say something like you need to solve for x correct to 2 decimal places. This is an indication that you need to use the quadratic formula or you need to use completing the square. But anyways, let's have a look at how we actually do this. Let's get into our example. So we're solving for x by using the quadratic formula. We've got x squared minus 14x plus 5 is equals to 0. Let's go to the writing pad and let's try out this example. So over here, we've got x squared minus 14x plus 5 is equals to 0. This is a quadratic equation. So the value of a is the coefficient of x squared, that's 1. The value of b is the coefficient of x, which is -14. The value of c is our constant, which is 5. Right, so x is equals to -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. And let's get a straight line going here, all over 2a. Now let's substitute what we know into this equation. So we have -14 plus or minus the square root of, this is going to be -14 squared minus 4 into the value of a is 1, the value of c is 5, all over 2 times the value of a, which is 1. Now notice something. The plus or minus that we have here means that we need to have two separate equations. Let me show you what I mean by this. We are going to have x is equals to -14 plus, notice that this time I am omitting the plus or minus. I'm only including one sign. and this is supposed to be positive 14. So x is equals to positive 14 plus the square root of negative 14 squared minus 4 into 1 into 5. And this is all over 2, because 2 times 1 is 2. Or x is equals to 14 minus the square root of negative 14 squared minus 4 into 1 into 5 all over 2. So notice, as we said, the plus or minus means that we need to separate our expression into two different values of x, because in a quadratic equation you can have two values of x. In most cases you will have two values of x. Right, if you substitute this and type this into a calculator, you're going to get x is equals to 7 plus 2 square root of 11. You're also going to get x is equals to 7 minus 2 square root of 11. Now, if the question said to you, you need to leave your answers in simple surd form, you would be done here. If the question asks you to write your answers correct to 2 decimal places, you can type these values into the calculator and you will get something like x is equals to, let's see, this is 13,63, or x is equals to, on the other end, what do we have? 0,37. There we have it. We have solved for x. Life is great. Brilliant. Let's look at the next question. So, in the next question, we've got 2x squared plus 6x minus 12 is equals to 0. So let's try this one out. For the purpose of this question, I'm just going to open a new sheet of paper so that we've got everything nice and clear. All right, we have got 2x squared plus 6x minus 12 is equals to 0. Once again, the first thing we need to do before answering the question is we need to identify the values of a, b, and c. So a is the coefficient of x squared, that is 2. B is the coefficient of x, that's positive 6. C is the constant, which is negative 12. Right. X is equals to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. Right, let's substitute what we know. So x is equals to negative 6 plus or minus the square root of, this is positive 6 squared minus 4 into 2 into negative 12. And this is all divided by 2 times the value of a, which is 2. Let's separate our x values. So x is equals to negative 6 plus the square root of 6 squared minus 4 into 2 into negative 12, all divided by 4, or x is equals to negative 6 minus the square root of 6 squared minus 4 into 2 into negative 12, all divided by 4. Once we get to this point, we can type what we have into the calculator and see what we get as an answer. We are going to have x is equals to negative 3 plus the square root of 33 over 4. This is all over 4. Or x is equals to, this is going to be positive 3 plus the square root of 33 divided by 4. Once again, if the question says to you, you need to leave your answers in simple surd form, you would be done. But if the question says to you, leave your answers correct to 2 decimal places, then you're going to have x is equals to 1,37, or x is equals to negative 4,37. Brilliant. Life is great. Let's go on to the next question. Right, our next question says negative x squared minus 9x plus 30 is equals to 0. Let's go to the writing pad and let's try this out. So once again, let me open a new sheet of paper. We have got negative x squared minus 9x plus 30 is equals to 0. So before we do anything, let us actually write down the values of a, b, and c. So a is equals to negative 1, b is equals to negative 9, c is equals to 30. Now we write down our quadratic formula. So x is equals to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So let me go straight ahead and separate this. X is equals to negative 9 plus the square root of negative 9 squared minus 4 times negative 1 times 30. This is all divided by 2 times negative 1, or x is equals to negative 9 minus the square root of, I'm running out of space here, negative 9 squared minus 4 into negative 1 into negative 30, and this is all over 2 times negative 1. Right, if you type each of these into the calculator, for the first side, you will get x is equals to, this is 9 plus the square root of 201 all over 2, or x is equals to negative 9 plus the square root of 201 over 2. This is if your question asks you to leave the answer in simple surd form. Whoops, I made a little bit of a mistake. There should be a negative sign here. Right. So if the question did not ask you to leave your answers in simple surd form, let's write it correct to 2 decimal places. So x is equals to negative 11,59, or x is equals to, this is going to be 2,59. Brilliant. Life is great. So one thing that you should take note, it is possible for us to get x's undefined. It's very much possible. Just check your working to see that your substitution is correctly done. If your substitution is done correctly, then it is very much possible for you to get x's undefined. You do not always need to get a number for x. You can get undefined. You could get a rational number, so you could get something like x is equals to 4 over 3 or x is equals to 0. That is absolutely possible, provided that you have substituted all of your values correctly into the equation. I hope that this made sense to you guys. I hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope this video was productive to you. If for some reason you still have any questions or you're uncertain about anything, please do let us know in the comment section, and if need be, we'll need to re-upload a video or get back to the section where you did not understand and then fix it. Other than that, please do subscribe to the channel. Please click on the bell icon so that you'll receive an update every time when we release a new video. Share the video with others and subscribe to our channel. Let's share the video, let's share the knowledge so that everybody can benefit from the knowledge that we're learning. Until then, have a good day. Ciao.